Wondai is basically a very Indigenous populated area. Cherbourg is right next door, which is a well-known and recognised Indigenous community. A lot of people know Chris Sara, the principal of Cherbourg School there. So yeah, Wondai, some of the Aboriginal kids also come to Wondai School. So from about grade 3 is where I moved to Wondai. My parents grew up there, my grandparents on both sides of my family grew up there. So I went to school there till grade 10. Unfortunately, Wondai doesn't have a 11 and 12, so it was through to Kingaroy after that. But while I was at Wondai, swimming was a huge thing. A lot of my Indigenous friends did swimming as well. Painting, NAIDOC days, things like that everyone knew about. It was something that was really noticed in the community. Certain days where the Aboriginal elders would actually come up and they would cook things like possum and emu, and even those that aren't Indigenous, like myself, got a chance to get into that culture and understand it. It was really good. Yeah, I was an on-campus student. I didn't live there, I lived with family. But yeah, I moved straight up here. Teaching was what I wanted to do, loved teaching. And so yeah, I'm fortunate enough that going through CQU in a 4-year course to be successful and now be permanently placed in Ed Queensland, which is fantastic. My final prac, I actually did a whole unit on Aboriginal Australians. Where the students actually got to know, because being Rockhampton, even though there are an Indigenous population, it probably isn't as much as what I grew up with, so I really wanted to give them that little bit of experience that I had, more knowledge of Aboriginal people like Neville Bonner, those that they might know the name of but may not actually know that they were an Indigenous Australian, just to give them a little bit more background on Australia as a culture and just what we have in it. I'm actually in the SEU unit, so that's the Special Education unit at Rockhampton High School. We do have quite a few Indigenous students that are in my care, so I teach grade 12 English, a lot of tutorials because the students that we do have, they do have learning disabilities, and so they do need that extra little bit of help, so that's what I'm there to do. So I love it, it's fantastic, and I'm really privileged to have a permanent job straight out of uni.